It seemed that our major function in government, and I'm not saying what our constitutional function should have been, but our major function in government was standing between action and consequence. That if somebody decided, for whatever reasons, to have children out of wedlock, we would pick up the weight. We would pick up the burdens, we would pick up the cost, we would pick up the... Now, I'm not being judgmental of anybody that way. If someone didn't have a job, we would be the ones who would help. If there was a problem environmentally, we would be the ones who would mandate change. That we always stood between, rather than letting the consequence occur and then finding appropriate action for it, we would always stand in between that and consequence. And I had come to the conclusion that values and principles, as Sylvia has stated in an earlier meeting, and that they are under attack, that they are not appreciated, or they are rejected. Kids in Joe City, they have kind of a reputation for work. If you, just in general, have you ever given something to a child or grandchild that they didn't seem to appreciate? And when that happens, why is that? They didn't have to work for it. They didn't have to work for it. I have a wonderful grandson, and there's a gentleman who has kind of adopted him and gives him this big honking. I mean, there used to be, you do the little spring dart gun, you know, the rubber thing. But now it's, you know, it shoots 500 rounds a minute and it's got all these Nerf things coming crazy and out. And he gives him this big thing, and as soon as he ran out of batteries, he ran out of interest. The saying, you love that which you serve, and you serve that which you love. And if you're lacking in any one thing, be it in a marriage or family or work, the more you serve it, the more you'll love it. That's a value. There's a principle there. What would be the value or principle in the Second Amendment? Pretty simple, isn't it? That I have the right as a living entity to defend myself against danger or harm. And also by extension, and there was a King Alfred in 872 in England, and that just, I'm just quoting what Cleon Skousen wrote in Making of America as I studied his stuff. Not that I'm an expert on the Second Amendment. But that king saw the value, he trusted his people, and he saw the value that if they were armed, that his capacity for self-defense in his little kingdom was greatly expanded. And in 1142, in what's called the Arise of Arms, that was reiterated. Even though the Normans had come and bashed up England pretty good, that element remained. I can promise you anything, but you need to know me. Because the values I have, whenever the question comes, whatever it is, and there are hundreds of bills, hundreds of dynamics from constituents, when they come through that door, come through constituent services, there's going to be a filter of values that they hit. And if they can get through that filter, then that is the measure of the character of your representative. If he has three values, then you've got big holes. Just about anything's going to get through there. But if he's got a tight set of values, and they're your values, then you'll feel comfortable that he would handle that kind of like I handle that. And that's what I need you to know. And so your questions to me, and I hope that there are plenty, they should be, what is my experience? Is raising a family critical to somebody that you want to have back there making decisions on family? Is being in business or understanding the value of money and of work, is that important to your representative? Is being a community organizer or someone who proclaims himself to be a great constitutional scholar, is that it, or is it someone that understands the values that support the Constitution? somebody asked us about, a question, and I said that the healthcare bill, just at its face, after 24, 25, who knows how many pages it'll have when they finally hash it all out or cut it all up and try to feed it through now piecemeal. But the values of it violate Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Ninth Amendment, 10th Amendment, and the Sixth Article where you give your oath. And the Third Amendment is that privacy stuff. The Third and Fourth Amendments are about privacy. And an opponent jumped up and says, well, I'm a constitutionalist, and the Third Amendment is about the quartering of troops in your house. It's not. There's no right of privacy in the Constitution. Now, why was he saying that? Because the right of privacy is a Roe versus Wade hot button. Because you're overriding the life, liberty, and pursuit of the life part of life, So how can you get to that if you haven't got life? So they put it right in the Constitution, not without due process of law and remuneration if necessary. And the Fourth Amendment, that you are secure in your papers and your possessions, and in your home. Mm-hmm. Why? Is that just because we don't want people looking at my papers? No, because it's my home. Mm-hmm. It's not the government's home. And that's a violation of the principle underneath the words. I'm not out there to parse words. I'm out there to make sure that the value is appreciated.